We call this meeting to order, determine there's a quorum. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself, we have a quorum. Y'all will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Nettleton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank y'all. If y'all don't mind, I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. The sheriff yesterday, his daughter passed. She'd been battling cancer. And if y'all don't mind, a moment of silence for Lori and every other individual that has passed, also battling cancer. It seems like it just affects us and it gets closer and closer. Thank you. Okay, item 5, approving, move. Second. A motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Citizens' comments. I didn't have a single paper up here. No citizens' comments. Item 7, approving monthly reports from elected officials. Second. And a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Approving bills for payment.
Motion to approve is presented.
And a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9, discussion possible action auditor report. Second. And a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, discussion possible action, certification of revenue, Texas Association of County Sheriffs Vehicle Break-In Claim, $1,350.82. Matt, is there a discussion on this?
Yes, can we go ahead and table it, please?
Motion to table.
Table.
Okay. And a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor to table? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 to table. All right. Item 11, discussion possible action on following budget adjustments. A, 83rd District Court transfer.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. B, Sheriff Animal Control Feed, $1,000 from Animal Control Equipment.
How are we doing this? Is this for this year's budget or what?
This is for this year's budget. We have a situation with some estrays, not estrays, sorry, but we're feeding currently some animals. There's litigation, but it was just budgeted for a normal year. There was a big budget adjustment last year to try to cover it, but unfortunately it was not encumbered.
It was not encumbered, the money to move forward. So the $12,000 that we had budgeted, they did not encumber those funds enough. They did not encumber enough funds to make up the difference. So it ended up coming out of this fiscal year still.
Judge, this situation, once it's settled, will be reimbursed?
Well, and we just had this conversation. What we're going to do, it is settled. My understanding, it is settled. We're waiting to get paid funds. Once those funds are brought in, we'll certify them, bring them in, put them back into the general fund, and we'll be able to put money back in feed for animal control if needed during the year.
Correct.
How much do you have in animal control right now for feed?
Right now, $813 or something like that.
Nothing. And so where are we getting this from?
It's coming from equipment. And the conversation I had with Matt just right now when I sat down, we looked at it as it comes.
Instead of taking it out of equipment, let's take it out of salaries in the sheriff's office. We usually have an overage there.
We usually do. We are just starting the year, and we've got some other items on the agenda. And you know, that's always our last go-to after the fiscal year, or at least, you know, month 8, 9, 10, something like that. But hitting it right away, I would ask, if not equipment, then just contingency. And when we did certify the revenue, we would just replenish contingency and then put the
I'll
rest.
make a motion that we get out of equipment for right now, and then down the road, we look at it different as to where to get the money.
Okay.
Was yours already a motion?
No, I haven't made the motion yet.
I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Before we keep on moving on, I'm gonna move up, to item 50. There's an individual here that, on a presentation, and that way he can get going. Discussion and approval of presentation from TCDRS, Representatives Tim Kraus, is he here?
Right here. Good morning.
Good morning, how are we doing?
We are doing well, sitting here in beautiful San Marcos at the Judges Commissioners Conference, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to sit down and talk with y'all.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna take a little bit of time for you today.
Real quick, before you start, TCDRS, Juanita, why don't you come up there, or somebody come up there? That way, you know, I don't do well with acronyms, and nobody gave me a cheat sheet. I know what it's about, but I want to know what TC.
TCDRS is the Texas Commission Department of Retirement System for the county.
Okay. All right, sorry about that. Go ahead, floor is yours.
No, not a problem. We are actually the Texas County and District Retirement System. Okay. We provide a retirement, survivor, and death benefits for all of our members. All the counties, 253 of the 254 counties, and probably about close to 600 legislative districts. Real quick, we are an advanced savings plan. It's usually identified as being a defined benefit. So what this simply means is that we're saving in advance for our future retirements. Each pay period, the employees will contribute 7%, which was authorized by the court, towards their retirement. It's pre-savings or pre-tax savings for them. And then at the time of retirement, we will accumulate the entire balance of their contributions, and the court has promised to match them at 225%. Now, while the employees are saving in advance, the county is also saving in advance. So there will never come an opportunity when we're going to have to come to the county and say, hey, we're short on money, can you write us a check? That will never happen. So we have estimated everybody's benefit who is enrolled in the plan, and so we know exactly what amount of money is going to be required on an annual basis from the county and also from the employees. So what I'm really here to talk about, and Juanita has talked to me previously about this, is the importance of all of your employees in the county having a beneficiary on file. This plan provides a survivor benefit, which simply means that if something were to happen to them while they're working with the county, that we have an option for the beneficiary that is on file. If we don't have a beneficiary on file, then it will either go to the spouse if they're married, or it will go to the estate, and then the family will have to battle for it. The survivor benefit is simply if you've worked less than 4 years, the beneficiary listed will receive a withdrawal of that employee's account. If they are there more than 4 years, they can have an option. They could either receive the entire account balance, or they can choose to elect a lifetime monthly benefit with the match. So it's very important that each individual that works for the county has a beneficiary on file. These people do have options. Also, it's a security issue. We are very, very concerned and very serious about the security that's taken with this retirement account. There was over 10,000 attempts last year from trying to break into our system to try to steal the funds that are available. So we have asked that every employee go online. They can do it on their phone, their home computer. They can go into Winnie's office and ask, and we can create an account for them. What this does is it secures their account and gives them an opportunity to do various things other than just work there. So what they can do by securing their account, we put into place a two-tier authorization process. So not only do they have to create a user ID and a password, but we will ask them to either use an email address or a phone number address to do a secondary validation before we can even get online. So once they get online, they can review all of their personal information. They can look at who their beneficiaries are. They can look at their current address. If that's changed, they can change or make changes to these plans right there on the spot. They can also look at their retirement accounts. They can look at beneficiaries that are listed. What the biggest concern is right now is that somebody can impersonate an employee if they get enough vital information from this person, and they can impersonate one of your employees and actually take the money from them. So it's real urgent that we have everybody secure their account. That's simply by going to tcdrs.org, logging into the system. There's a button up there that says join us or register, and they put that information in. Once they put that information in, it's going to ask for an account number. And fortunately for us, that the auditor's office is the only people that have this account information. They have a report with every individual who has not registered their account. We have account numbers for them. So they're going to have to go through that process before we can complete this authorization or authentication of their accounts. But once they're there, they can review their accounts, their information, make changes to their personal accounts, their beneficiaries. If they have time with the state of Texas or school district or a certain city that participates with TMRS, they can apply for time because we recognize time from these different organizations. They can actually apply for time and get that time certified. Your military individual
Seems like he's doing a lot of talking.
Is he able to see this?
Go on. Their account
I guess not.
time is
We're having.
from that account. They don't have to go into an office or not.
We're having nothing.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, very good. So did I lose y'all?
You did, but it's okay. Go ahead. We're back.
Very good. I know it gets a little dry here, but all we're really trying to do is for y'all to understand the importance of, for each one of your districts in here, to make sure that your employees have their accounts. They have secured and created an account with TCDRS, because it is a huge security concern for us, and it takes about 5 minutes to do so. Really, that's about all that I have for you. Y'all have any questions, or did I blank out on y'all at a certain period of time that y'all want me to go over?
Go ahead, Matt.
Mr. Crosby, this is Matt Weingart. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, doing well, Matt. How are you?
All righty. I believe one of the issues that we wanted to touch on was the importance of, if you retire from the county or terminate from the county and you list a beneficiary, you cannot change that beneficiary. And if that beneficiary passes away, then there is no longer a payment upon your death.
Okay. Okay, so the payment, the money that is contributed by this employee, regardless if they're, when they pass away or not, if they have a beneficiary or not, it is still considered their account and their money. The county doesn't receive it. TCDRS doesn't put it back into our reserves. We have it in an inactive account until somebody can claim it. I was talking with the manager of member services. We go through a very thorough search when looking for beneficiaries. And unfortunately, sometimes if a beneficiary isn't in place, then it goes to the estate, and then the legal battle will start up. As a retiree, you are correct. Once you have named a beneficiary and you have actually retired and received your first benefits, then you cannot name another primary beneficiary. So in my situation, I have my wife, my spouse. If I were to retire and she's my beneficiary and she passes away while I'm retired, I cannot name another person to receive a monthly benefit. But what I can do is name alternative beneficiaries. Now, these alternative beneficiaries will only receive what is left over of my account after I have passed away, but you cannot name a primary beneficiary to receive a monthly benefit once you have retired.
Right. Now, the money left over, you're talking about the employee's portion that's still left over in that asset. You're not talking about the pension benefits until end of life. Okay. If I can just give an example. So myself, I work till I'm 80, and I have a spouse who is also around my same age, 80. Would it be beneficial for me to put a dependent as my beneficiary as opposed to my spouse?
As a beneficiary? Well, you can, but you're going to have to be very careful. The IRS regulation states that your beneficiary can't be more than 20 years your junior. When you have somebody like a son or a daughter, or if you have grandchildren, we have people asking, can I name my grandchild? You can name a grandchild, but what happens with that benefit, when you retire, you have 7 options. And you have 4 options that can pay out lifetime benefits to the beneficiary upon your death. Those options are removed, especially if you have a much younger beneficiary listed, to the point where it may be only that life-only option, which is just you take the money and leave nothing behind, or you could have one of those guaranteed terms, a 10 or 15-year term that could be available. But all the other lifetime options, dual life options, are eliminated.
Okay.
We good?
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Y'all have any questions?
No.
Hey, I appreciate it. And my email address, if any of y'all have any questions about this, is simply it's tim@tcdrs.org. I know that during the presentation, sometimes you start thinking about this stuff later in the day. Please feel free to email me. If you ever need me to come in person and talk to you guys, any more detail or other particular subjects, I'm available to you as well. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it. Well, the main reason behind this is we're sort of running into, for instance, is no longer here, now it's actual. We've had some employees that they didn't know and this and that, even though that they've been told, so we figured it'd be a good idea to get this out. That you really, if you're an employee of the county, you really need to start looking at your beneficiaries and who to list and who you're gonna list as your primary and even your secondary, in case something happens. And do it.
Bring the employees in and when he's done that,
She's going to start going through with them again. The whole thing is though, like he just said, they need to get on and set up their own account.
Well, maybe
which we have people that
they can help them set up their accounts.
They can help them set up the accounts. You know, the main thing behind this when we had the policy committee meeting was that we need to get the word out that the employees need to take a little bit of responsibility for themselves. The county will help them get started, but it's up to the employee, whether you're an elected official or just an employee. I shouldn't say just an employee, an employee, other than an elected official, that you need to take the responsibility upon yourself to look out, reach out, and get help if you haven't already created your account and appoint your beneficiaries. Okay, that was it. Thank y'all. Item 12, discussion possible action to approve treasury report. There is none. Item 11, discussion possible action on court order number 24-592 regarding travel and training. We've done a court order when we were doing the budget that if departments had money in their special funds to use those special funds first. and then hit the travel and training fund that was within their budget. We had some concerns, on different budgets, in special revenue fund that, bottom line is, do we hit them, don't we hit them, or do we go after that money first? And bring up yours as an example. We have pretrial diversion account under the county attorney. We have used those funds before, put them back in the general fund. We've used them to pay attorneys, but we've taken that money out first, out of pretrial, and then put it back into the general fund in order to be used, versus trying to use it straight out of pretrial, for travel and training. Again, there's concerns with that one. There was concerns also on, technology funds for the JPs. Depending on what book you're reading, it says do technology. It can only be used, for technology, whether it be travel and training, EDOC, stuff like that, which we already take out $2,500 out of the accounts, out of the JP's accounts that had enough money in there for EDOC. If not, it was taken out of other accounts. So, a couple of JPs, or one JP went to take money out. Did we take it out of technology, even though it's not a technology training? And again, the conversation started, well, one book says this, that book says that, guidelines. So I told Matt we just put it on the agenda, and then we would, talk about it. Might be better at this point, maybe to undo that part of the court order, take it out of that, and then come back, February, March, to see what everybody else has done, and then hit those accounts specifically and reimburse ourselves. I don't know. It's something the court's gonna have to decide. There's a lot of information. Commissioner Nettles, the whole time that we've been here, has always wanted to hit the special funds first. We do have a motion to do
I
that.
don't understand what's complicated about this. If the travel and training is related to technology, it comes out of the technology travel and training. If it's related to records management, it comes out of the records management travel and training. If it's related to pretrial, it comes out of the pretrial travel and training. It doesn't hit the general fund until it's a non-related item that is not related to one of those special funds that are in the statute. It clearly defines what the usages are. So if we're going to those types of training, then it would come out of there. And if it's not, then it would, of course, come out of the general fund.
Sure. Well, one on the technology, let's just cover that one first. I believe that the statute changed the wording back when they did SB 41, probably 2 years ago. They took out the word, train. It's still called the technology fund, but no longer said travel and training related technology. Now it just says travel and training. They also added in salaries for court people and all that. So salaries for court people is not related to technology either. But
it's an allowable expense.
But it is an allowable expense.
The point I was trying to make when we had this discussion during the budget is exactly what you just said. We have general fund money paying salaries, and then we have this big amount of money in some of these funds that for travel and training, that could be used for salaries to relieve the general fund burden on salaries. So if we're not going to use it for travel and training, perfectly fine. Then use it for the personnel that it qualifies for. But we can't continue to allow, I mean, the whole purpose of these special funds is so that the taxpayers don't have to pick up all the tab and the fees and fines pick up those tabs. If we just sit there and continue to allow these funds to get larger and larger and larger, and in some cases they are, and not in all cases, but in some cases they are, if there is a legal purpose for that fund, be it travel and training, be it salaries, be it whatever, then there's no reason that we don't utilize those funds first before we hit the taxpayers with that expense.
Agreed, 100%. So then if you do acknowledge that word technology, and travel and training has to be related to technology, clearly we're not saying that the whole trip has to be related to technology, or we're going to break out the agenda, that class is technology, that class is technology. Right, this is where we started.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, it just seems to me that we're complicating something that's not complicated.
I agree with you. I fully agree with you.
You know, it seems like government at its best, we take a simple deal and make it a complicated problem.
100%.
If you're going to a conference and it's related to technology, you're going to pay for it out of technology, travel, and training. If it's that complicated, then we pay for it out of the general fund, take the technology part and move it over to salaries and relieve the salary side of it. Hey, it's not rocket science.
Well, great, let's get together on it.
Yeah.
And we'll come up with a solution,
I mean,
and we'll do
the
it.
statute tells you what you can use it for.
Correct.
Some of them allow salaries, some of them allow travel and training, some of them allow equipment.
Mhm.
They tell you, they pretty much spell it out.
Right. And
So
I,
if the issue is that it's too complicated to divide what part is travel and training, then fine, let's figure out another solution. The point I'm trying to get to is these funds sit there, and then all year long, we sit there and start transferring funds around so that we can have a slush fund on the side, instead of utilizing the funds to relieve the taxpayers of the burden of paying for some of the stuff they have to pay for. That's the whole purpose of the fund.
agreed. So then on the pretrial, simply that's just a.
No, don't jump. Don't jump.
Okay, all right.
Let's figure one out.
Okay.
Okay.
I like your solution to
You're
come back.
stuck on the technology.
Yeah, I like your solution to come back, Mark, but you will never have a 3-day, 2-day, 1-day, well, you might have. a
Well,
1 day.
and I can tell you, like, right now, on
Directly
the
to technology.
On the technology fund right
Yeah.
now, what they're going through is civil, not technology. Has nothing to do with technology.
They're not gonna talk about computer systems, they're not gonna talk about case management software, they're not gonna talk about any of that stuff that uses a computer or technology or the internet? No? Okay, great.
So, and if we want to come back and take it out and say, we're going to pay labor, some of it labor, out of the technology fund, but we're going to have to go account by account.
We are.
And the conversation I had with you is, I don't want the burden placed on you to decide, where we're getting the money from.
Right.
Right? That should be the decision of the court. And it should be, if we're gonna do this, then it needs to be a ongoing process before we get to next year's budget, fiscal year 25-26. We need to go through each one of the accounts, and we can't do that in 1 or 2 meetings. That's gonna be something that we'll have to pick accounts all the way through this and then go through it.
No, this is.
Because it's really difficult, and the conversation I had with you is, I don't think it's right that when they get mad and everybody, they go to you.
Yeah.
When we're the ones that made the decision, and they call me and it's like, we're just gonna talk about it. That's how come I put it on. So in the technology fund, if we wanna take money out for labor, which all 4 JPs, I think, precinct 4 is the only one that doesn't really have any money.
That's correct.
In hers. Precinct 1, 2, and 3 have money in there. And we do take out $2,500 apiece out of precinct 1, 2, and 3 for EDOC. And then they have a little bit of money left. But on precinct 4, we don't. So we are taking money out. We need to come up with a better process, the court does, to be able to use those funds. So when it comes to the technology fund, I think they need to go hit their, just 1 in 5 opinion. They need to hit their travel and training, and then we need to do a better job coming back. If there's anything left after the $2,500 that we've already taken out, if we want to go through there and reimburse ourselves for labor, right?
And I'm fine with either way. I mean, I think it's interesting that we're having this conversation that the elected officials that manage these accounts can't come and say, you know what, 50% of this is going to be technology of this conference and 50% is going to be the other, and manage the account. That's the whole purpose of getting elected to the position, is to manage the money that you're given. But I mean, we can manage it. I'm sure the court can do that for them, since we apparently are having an issue with their ability to manage it. It's not rocket science. It's really not. It's the elected official knows what the conference is.
Okay.
They know what qualifies for which piece of the conference.
Okay.
They should be able to come to you and fill out a purchase order that says, I'm taking 50% out of technology, because 50% of this is technology, and the other 50% is just general travel and training.
Okay.
But we can do it the other way. I mean, the way the judge wants to do it, I'm fine with doing it that way either. It just, we end the year with all of these fund balances, and then we play, let's shuffle money around.
Right.
And then we take all of these special fund travel and training money, and we shift it into office supplies, or we do something else with it. We start buying this or buying that, or doing this or doing that, so.
Yeah,
And we've had the conversation as members of the court that we allow that to happen.
No,
So when they come to start doing budget adjustments, if we start saying no, then they go away and do a better job.
That's true. And at the end of last year, it was the auditor's office needed to do a better job of monitoring the stuff coming through. And now we're saying that the elected official needs to do a better job of putting it in. So.
And I'm not
which is it?
gonna blame them. It lies on the court.
Okay.
It lies on us. It lies on me. It's my responsibility. I will bring back information and we will start a process that we will go through every special fund, starting in January, and begin that process before we end up trying to do our budget for 25, 26, that if there's money that can be moved, that it be moved. That way, we end up reimbursing the county. And it's
Got
gonna
it.
be really difficult to do it through the budget process, but if we do a couple of special funds at a time, I think we can end up eating this elephant. Okay?
What do you ask?
And at the end of the day, Commissioner, I agree with you on that we move money. We just moved money up front a little bit that should have been budgeted because we allowed $12,000 to be used and it wasn't used. Not throwing rocks, I'm just saying that we, as a court, if we can stop this, the only thing we need to do is just say no.
What do you
When we start
want
moving
here?
money back and forth, we stop.
What do you want in here?
I would like
You
for,
want to rescind the order?
I would, the part that hits these special accounts, I think it's really difficult. I just think that we need to start a better process. This court needs to start a better process, starting with me. Yes. I think it's gonna be really difficult for our auditor. And like you said, it's not rocket science. We ought to be able to work through it. But the amount of phone calls and the amount of conversation that goes into for a $700 travel and training and the amount of time that it's taken, and that money's not going anywhere. We can still go back after it anyway. It's not going anywhere.
Well, I mean, I'll make a motion to rescind the order. It just bothers me, the elected official is having a fit over this when it's funds that they have available and they know what the usages are, and I mean, it'll be up to this court, I guess, to make those decisions. I'll make a motion to rescind order 24-592.
I'll second that.
God help us.
Let's clarify what department we're talking about.
It's
What travel and training?
It's not so much a department. What it is that order was to departments that, it isn't one, it's departments that had special revenue funds. That's what the order
They
was.
would be hit first and travel and training before the general fund.
The whole thing is though, that, and I said a little while ago, there needs to be a better job done. If we're gonna go after these funds, the good thing about it though, is at the point that we wanna go back and reimburse ourselves, that money's not going anywhere.
Correct.
So we
Yeah,
can
lots
go
of
back and
But
reimburse.
Judge, this money we've been talking about for years, right? I mean, special accounts and
Since
stuff
we
like
came
that.
in 2011.
So we're gonna fix it this year?
I don't know if, no. No, I'm not gonna say we're gonna fix it. I'm gonna say we're gonna do a better job looking at it.
I've been here 20 years and it ain't got fixed yet.
Yeah, well, more than likely what's gonna happen is it will probably be fixed this year. We're gonna go in and we're gonna do, journal entries, take out what we feel should have been special revenue. In the following year,
When you say we're gonna take it out, it'll be brought to the court in order to make the decision.
Right.
Based on numbers that we're looking at.
correct. And then the following year, they're just not gonna put anything in travel and training. And then at that point, that'll be up to first the judge and then the court.
You're opening up like,
Okay, got it. All right.
we have taken money, this court, since we've been sitting on it, the way this court is today,
I think the word you're looking for is not taking money, we have placed the money where it belongs. Because we're not taking.
we took a lot of money. This court, the way it sits right now, we had gone after, or looked at special accounts in order to reimburse ourselves for things that we could reimburse the general fund and the taxpayers, basically reimburse the general fund money. That we have done probably a couple $100,000 at one point, and then another 100 and some odd thousand. But we hit pretrial when Anna was here, and then we hit pretrial while he's been.
Oh, okay, pre-trial, yes.
And then we hit pretrial in the DA's office also. Some of the major accounts that are in there that we probably need to look at first are probably the county clerks, who has most money in the district clerk. Right?
Yeah, and there's no
County
way.
clerk, district clerk, and county attorney.
Yeah.
And there's no way that they're going to even come close to spending that travel and training.
But it's not just travel and training, as I said during the budget process. It's also office supplies. It's, you know, we're hitting the general fund for office supplies, but we have money budgeted special fund for office supplies. And then we decide to take that money, hit the general fund with it, and then take the money and transfer it into something else. And, you know, I mean, and I don't care what the departments use it for, but they need to do the job of creating their budget on what their needs are to utilize those funds. That's the purpose of those funds, is to be utilized. And what ends up happening, and has been happening for years, is nobody submits a budget, some departments don't, so you take it and divide it by 4 evenly between office supplies, travel and training, and something else, because we have to have a budget to function off of. And then we wind up with these large amounts of money that just sit there, and then they figure out they have it because we created a budget for them, and now they say, well, I'm going to move it over here, move it over there, move it over here. Well, you didn't create the budget to start with. So at that point, which is why the conversation was that those that didn't create budgets should be just zeroed out to nothing, and they don't get to use the fund, period.
Oof, yeah. I just don't see how the system's win on that deal, though, right?
What we'll do is we'll begin the process earlier, and we ain't gonna go pick and choose accounts. We'll just pick the way it's in the budget. And when you flip the tab on special funds, we'll just start whatever's there. That way nobody feels like they're being.
Go back to prior years, and if they didn't use any of it, then they won't put any in travel and training the next year. It's just not
Yeah,
smart.
we can do that. All right, thank you.
Now, the motion, Commissioner Middleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 14, discussion possible action on collaborating with entities to raise sexual abuse awareness among our young children in our community. We have, it seems like I don't even know where to start with this. There's individuals in our community that here recently have come forward, either, and David, at some point, if I say something wrong, you let me know, either sexual abuse or indecency with a child. I think we need to do a better job and letting these individuals know that we can help them. Again, I don't even know where to start.
Any recommendations, Judge, as to what maybe we could build or form a department or?
Yeah, the judge and I were having this discussion. Sadly, you know, our county, our state, our country is kind of going through an epidemic when it comes to these types of abuses to those that are most vulnerable. And sadly, it's often children. We have very limited resources at times to try to assist these victims. I know now my office has a crime victims advocate. The sheriff's office does as well. The DA's office does as well. One of the issues sometimes is we have issues with placement. Where do we help place victims at times? We have an issue right now in Val Verde County through our SART, the Sexual Assault Response Team, with SANE nurses. A SANE nurse is a nurse that does a sexual assault assessment or examination. There are none in Val Verde County. So when a victim comes forward and is identified, they have to transfer that victim to San Antonio. And sometimes they're in San Antonio after they've just been victimized or they've just made their outcry. They're there for 12, 15, 16, 18 hours. And we've heard it many times from families. They feel like they're re-victimized. Does this court have the ability to answer all of those concerns, answer all of those problems? We don't. It all comes down to funding. The judge and I talked about, approaching our legislators and maybe proposing to whomever our representative is going to be next year in this next legislative session to look at something similar to SB 22. the grants that were given to the sheriff's office in rural counties and prosecutors' offices in rural counties, why can't we do something similar to try to help local hospitals, hospital districts to attract and pay a more competitive salary to attract SANE nurses, so that our victims don't have to travel all the way to San Antonio. One of the things that we hope to do, and I know this court has a great interest in, and always has it, in supporting the domestic women's shelter. There's been discussions even with this court about the possibility of one day maybe expanding to a children's shelter as well, because what we're talking about here is children. And I know that this court has always taken on or shown its concern, its very genuine concern with that. Are there possibilities with the budgets that we have now? The judge was real quick to remind me, a couple of years ago when we were going through the crisis with the women's shelter, that the county really couldn't afford to do it then, but it did it. It found a way to manage. This court did a really good job in standing by the thought and the idea of assisting victims of domestic violence. Kind of almost have to adopt that same mentality. So whether it's a matter of all of us tightening our budgets a little bit to make sure that we can come up with some funds to assist
And like
in
what
one way.
we talked about too, David, is, if it's the money, it shouldn't be.
Right,
If we can't get people that are qualified, then that's a problem.
absolutely.
But the money should never be a problem when it comes to this.
Absolutely. There are some things that the fiscal part of it can't be primary. Because it's just too important of a cause.
Whether it be, a children's shelter, I think you brought it up, SANE nurse, at the hospital, which we don't have. Again, not throwing rocks at the hospital, because, I think they're doing a good job. But even, do we band together and ask the city and the COG and school district, we need to get awareness to the kids that are there, let them know that it's okay to come forward. Don't wait 4, 5, 6 years before you come forward, because it's affecting them. So do we, I don't know. That's not going to put it on the agenda. I just don't know. It seems like what we're doing, we're trying real hard, but we're just not getting it.
We seem to be spinning our wheels.
Judge, as I brought it to the attention of the court in the past, I'm a big believer that we need a children's shelter. And for a while, I was out there looking for land next door to the community center. And maybe we don't have all the money to build one, but we can start one. And maybe Carl could help us from applying for grants.
Commissioner, it would just be the decision of the court if that's what they wanted to do, because like I say, the money, if it's money that's the problem, it's not the problem. Okay? Right now, I think, it's a good idea. But the issue that we're facing right now is we have individuals that are coming forward, some of them 4, 5, 6 years, that this had happened. There's a case right now that this piece of shit probably has done it to more people. That will be coming. That information will be out. But what do we do for the victim? How do I get them help?
Right.
Is the hospital doesn't have one because they can't attract one, or they don't have the revenue?
It's kind of a combination. They've had difficulty. They've advertised the position. They're actually aggressively trying to find the people that will be willing to train. It's a big commitment for that individual that would fill that role, because
Do we have an individual that they can train? I know we've done that with other departments like the sheriff's office for crime advocate people, and maybe us in the city and everybody get together and help fund the training and do some.
And we have a mechanism right now in place through the sexual assault response team that meets on a regular basis and has been trying to address this issue. Again, not being critical of the hospital at all, to the contrary. I commend them
they're doing
for
the best they
the
can do.
efforts.
I'm just trying to
Mr.
figure
David,
out-
and all them are doing.
What is Child Protective Services doing about all this?
You know, that's kind of a whole different thing. They kind of have their role in the process, so to speak, when it becomes an issue of removing a child, placing a child in a safe home. But as far as that, even then, it's a concern, and the judge and I talked about this too. One of the things that's lacking in Val Verde County when it comes to Child Protective Services and their placement is they're very limited in the places that they have available. There are hardly any in Val Verde County.
Limited as to what, office space or?
No, I'm talking about the homes that they can
foster
place these
homes.
children, because it's typically a 12 to 24-month process,
You've got
the CPS process, the Child Protective Services process. The courts always try to keep a family unified, but there are some situations where there's really no hope of keeping the family unified. Then it's a matter of trying to place the children in a safe home. They give priority to family adoptions within the family before they go to outside family adoptions. It's a long process. Judge Sergio Gonzalez does a really good job handling those cases in that docket. Most of these kids are having to be placed in communities, sadly, pretty far from Val Verde County. So when you're trying to work towards family reunification, and you have a child who's been placed in Harris County in Houston, or a child who's been placed in Kerrville or in Eagle Pass, although Eagle Pass is a little closer, a little easier, to foster those visits and encourage those visits.
We've had several
It's
groups
a
come
process.
in before this court before talking about the need for foster families and Delaware. And it's difficult. I get it. I mean, it's hard.
There's no
to
one.
commit to that, and the amount of work that it takes to commit to doing something like that, so I understand it.
Yes, sir.
I agree with the judge. You say we have a START team.
SART team,
SART
it's a
team.
sexual assault response team.
Okay.
The DA participates in it, our office participates in it, sheriff's office, city
Do
of
we
Delaware
have
Police Department.
or maybe we look at creating a committee between the city, the county, the school, and the hospital district, and judge can sit on it, and some other members of the court, however we want to do it, that looks at addressing this issue and coming up with what funds need to be able to attract the people that we need to attract. And maybe it's a housing issue, maybe, I don't know what the issue is about why somebody doesn't want to move here. But it may not always be the fact of they need more money, and there may be other things that this court could do, or the city could do, or the hospital could do to attract. I know like in school districts, rural school districts, it's a housing issue. So the local school districts in these rural areas provide housing, maybe those
Yes,
are
sir.
options that we look at, but to me, we need a group of people consistent of all the agencies to come together and put together what that needs is and how we're going to address it, not just the county, but the entire community as a whole.
Absolutely.
We went to the candlelight vigil at the Civic Center the other night, and I shouldn't be smiling, but our society visited with a couple men and a lady, adults, all those adults, probably all within 5 or 6 years of each other. And they said that they thought what they went through, it was just normal. Just dad get home, beat shit out of mother, and it was normal. And I know I'm getting off topic here. We're talking about kids, but there's so many things that are wrong. But now this court, along with the previous court, along with when Mike was here, with Battered Woman Shelter, and then it closed. And then in 2011 we came in during that court under Judge Allen. We opened it up and then drew plans and then built another one. But in visiting with adults, they just thought that what all of us were going through, that it was normal.
Sadly, a lot of those conditions become normalized, and that's really sad. And a lot of times it's because the victims don't feel like they can go anywhere. All too often they're relegated to their situation, or they feel like they are.
And the reason I brought that up right now is that for these kids, this can't be normal.
It should never be normal.
No, we need to stop it. We need to get to a place where they feel comfortable coming to an adult. We've had the conversation also that maybe the first place would be at school. Maybe they spend more time at school, with teachers, partnership. And like you said a little while ago, we need to put something together with the school and everybody else that we can actually, begin to bring awareness to this problem. And it's okay that you come forward. It's not your fault.
Right.
You need to come forward. Nobody's going to judge you. Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's been a while since I've been involved in that sort of situation. Is there a way to work with local medical professionals like doctors and maybe have some information in their offices? Because I know sometimes younger children, especially young women, feel more comfortable maybe speaking with a nurse about something that's happened, or maybe even getting them to where they could do the exam.
And again, the SART team encompasses the hospital. It encompasses the clinic at the base. It encompasses at one time STAT. So the medical community is definitely engaged with this.
And I put this item on the agenda. I really didn't need to have action on it, but I think we need to begin the process, that we need to move forward.
I don't know if you're made aware of that or not.
Yeah, you want to talk about it?
Judge Joe Ortiz with the Sheriff's Department and Commissioners. A lot of what you're saying, I know you and I both attended that program the other day, and I was surprised and glad to see how many organizations out there that do have some information. And I agree with you 100%, Judge. We need to find a way to get to the young people to let them know what a healthy lifestyle is, what a healthy relationship is, to identify and know what abuse is, and then to be able to bring that forward, whether it's physical abuse or sexual abuse, whether it be to a teacher. And I think the schools are a good place to start, is putting together a program that can be presented. And I think with the current teams that are in place today, who've had to investigate it and have had to deal with it, are the best advocates to put together some program that I think we can use. I also wanted to mention, because you brought it up, Commissioner, about the hospital. We have been working with the hospital, and I think it's set for November 14th. I personally met with Mr. Guadalo and other members of the hospital to try to find a way to get a SANE nurse here. And they have an event on November 12th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Education Conference Room at the Medical Center. What they did is they reached out to every licensed nurse, whether they're with the school district, whether they're with the stat hospital, private. They went through their ability to identify and sent a message and encouraged them to come out. We are working together. He reached out to the mayor, to the city. He's reached out to us to find out what can we do, get together partnership to find out why we can't keep them safe. Because we have had people trained before that were SANE nurses. It is a challenging job. To do that, even if you have to do it one time, and especially if you're having to do with a child, or if you're having to do it with, there's both physical assault as well as sexual assault, it's very emotional to the individual nurse. So that is the challenge. I had some friends that were in that profession, and I've reached out to them out of the Austin area, where it's probably occurs more often, unfortunately, because of population. And they've given us some advice and guidance that we've shared with the hospital. We encourage the public to come out to hear. If you know people that are in the medical profession, have them reach out to the hospital. They've posted it. We are working. I know the sheriff's office and everyone that's part of the CERT team is dedicated to trying to find someone, and not just one, but multiple people here that can be available to do those types of examinations, and also working to see what we can do about developing a program, as the judge talked about, to get the awareness out. So I just wanted to share that because I did attend that as well with the judge.
Thank you, Chief.
What together, Judge?
What I'll do is I'm gonna reach out, I'll send an email this afternoon or tomorrow to all the entities. And we need to get something started, and then bring back another.
Well, I certainly commend the judge and the members of the court for showing your compassion and your concern for this very critical issue.
Thank you, David. Y'all have any other discussion? Just to throw a little bit of credit, I already said it once, but, you know, when Mike was here, as county judge, the battered woman shelter was built. It was shut down there for a little bit, and we came in 2011, with guidance from Mr. Muskis and Judge Allen at that point. We reopened it and then, ended up setting aside money, the courts did, to build a new, facility. That facility that we have right now is a 8-bed facility, and each one of the bedrooms actually has its own restroom, sort of stand by itself type deal, which was different from the first battered woman shelter. Commissioner Flores and Commissioner Nettleton. Commissioner Flores has also said about a children's shelter, doing something like that. We have had some other counties come by and look at our battered woman shelter to see what is it that we have that they want to look into to try to develop something. But I want to thank the court, and we'll bring back more information later on this. Item 15, request a credit card and
Motion to
card.
approve.
A motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action on a grant for tiny homes or housing for veterans. I know that we had talked about before, grant for tiny homes. I think Mr. Vitela applied for a grant. I think they formed a 501c3, applied for a grant for tiny homes. But I do think that also we have a need, to house some of these veterans. I know that, and the reason I brought this up, I don't know, Carl, if the court would direct you to maybe go out and look for grants or see what we can do. I know the other day there was an individual that passed away there, close to, I think Advanced, there on the side of the street, dehydration, had passed away. He's a veteran, and, you know, he was having a hard place to, having a hard time finding a place to live. And that individual actually ended up passed away there on the street next to Advanced Auto Parts.
Judge, could I speak to them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What I'd like to do on the Calavera School is turn that into a veterans housing. And would that work with this asking Carl for a grant?
You know, if the court would like to, you know, begin the process of maybe, you know, Carl, to go out and see if we can get grants. What we can do is go down and look at the school and check and see what's left of it and come up with a plan also.
Just talked to Cuddles a while ago, and the roof has asbestos in it, and it probably needs replacing.
Yeah, and there's some of it that can be torn down. When we did that study, we did it there and then the other school too, right? So we have a study on both of them. Okay. I'd like to have a
I'll make a
motion.
motion to authorize the judge and Carl to look for grants for veteran housing.
Second. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible on Brandon County Judge permits to search for property for a new fire station and bring information.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 18, discussion possible action on part of the city of Del Rio to put up flags at Civic Center to honor armed forces. I actually have it. Thank you, sir. Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Flores. We have a meeting with, Mr. Manuel Chavez tomorrow, and I told him hopefully I can go good here and we meet with him tomorrow. I'm looking at this. Have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Discussion possible action on resolution authorizing county grant program year 2025.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. And what we'll do is we'll go back and look at this and research this to make sure that the money, the formula's correct as to what we're gonna get.
Yeah, we can do whatever you guys want on the formula, it's just contingency. That's what we usually pulled out of last year. Okay.
All right. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion and approval of proposed changes of personal policy manual. We actually met, Juanita, if you don't mind. We've had a couple of changes, and if you'll just start at the top, and the proposed change, that way in case anybody has questions.
Okay, so the first change will be to the sick leave. We changed from a minimum of 1 hour to 15 minutes or 0.25 increments.
That way in case you're gone or whatever, you don't have to take the whole hour.
The second change was made to the medical coverage for family members. It will require employees who retire to keep their dependents on insurance through a direct draft.
On that one, we were having people that were putting,
Leaving
family
the
members on, but then we had problems collecting money. So,
And the third is travel policy. We added the hotel reservation booking. At the time of reservation booking hotel rooms for travel, the employees shall not use third-party hotel rental sites such as Booking.com, Expedia, Kayak, etc. This is to protect potential security risks. Number 4, the dress code. We added a limit of 5 shirts, not to include jackets, caps, etc.
I know like our road crews, we buy them jackets and stuff like that. Is that not going?
well, but you're a little bit different because you're outside all the time. We do not.
No, I understand. I want to make sure the policy clarifies that doesn't.
For your road crew's different, and not only that, because they're outside.
Yes.
They're not, they're in the elements. And not only that, they also get jackets sometimes through TAC, right? And
Yes,
vests
sir.
and stuff like that.
Through the safety program.
Well, it
My
just,
road and bridge crew, boots, at least every other year.
And that's still allowable. We have departments.
No, I understand it's getting out of control.
Oh, no, what we're having to come up with a policy is that, I'm gonna get in trouble. Loli's laughing. It isn't, we're having a problem how they're dressed. So in order to help the way they're dressed, let's get them some shirts. Mr. Bonsbacher smiling too. But we don't want to where they're buying 15, 20 shirts, and then different kind and $100 shirts. We still have to be responsible, to our taxpayers. And it does have to have the logo, but we didn't want them to be buying jackets and caps and stuff like that. It's not necessary. Especially when you're sitting inside, air conditioned in a heated office.
Yes.
I just want to make sure it's not interpreted that when we do a PO for jackets, somebody doesn't come back and say, you can't get those because the policy says you can't get those.
Your crews, I would, in my opinion, would be exempt from this because they are out in the elements. All the other departments, other than the crews, when I say crews, which would be precinct 1, 2, 3, and 4, and building maintenance, would be included in that also. But every other department,
I just didn't know if we needed to add something in here that specifies.
If you want to have that would probably be good. That
Because
would
the
just
dress code policy does indicate that every department has.
Does dress code include like, what type of shoes or high heels or no high heels?
And the policy does say
sandals
that
or-
every department will create their own policy. There are some departments that have asked for my help, and I've created separate policies for them to address those. Sometimes they want their employees in flip-flops or sandals or So,
Let's go steal the school district's dress code for.
Flip-flop and sound would be good over there in Cameron County.
If we could,
Let it bother you.
if we could examine, from the jackets and stuff like that,
Other than
precincts 1, 2, 3, and 4. Building maintenance, Commissioner Vasquez just said
Fire
fire department.
department.
The amount of people, the amount of people that I get that walk over because they don't like the way we're dressed, and stuff hanging out, is unbelievable. And that's one of the things, yeah, I told you I'd get in trouble. But we need to do a better job, as department heads, all of us, and as employees. If you're having to put your shirt up all day long, you probably should not be wearing it.
and even at that, those are the complaints that we get from citizens. They'll either go directly to the judge or to my office because they're uncomfortable.
So hopefully this will, help with that. If we could get to they're either wearing their little polos or something, I know that, you know, it is just with everything we have to deal with in the world as a county court, we're having to play with this, but it is what it is.
Yes, sir.
Keep on.
Okay, so number 5, attendance. Under the employee attendance and timeliness, we changed approved and unapproved to excused and unexcused. Number 6, we added carrying of handguns and other weapons to the policy manual.
Okay, but we're prohibiting it
Conversation.
because some of our road crews work out in the middle of nowhere and there's snakes, there's all kinds of stuff.
I did receive a policy, and I think it's part of your agenda item from the county attorney addressing this issue.
Particularly talks about buildings.
Okay.
Yes.
Crews that are outdoors.
And that's fine, I mean, they don't always, but there are certain circumstances, and it's more for snakes and stuff like that.
Make sure they carry their snake bite kit.
So around the buildings, the concern is that, an employee not to carry their gun, their personal guns in county facilities.
In county facilities and even in the county parking lot, they can avoid that easily if they're licensed by parking somewhere other than the county parking lot.
But you know, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to enforce, but we can write it in.
Yes.
And that's one of the questions.
Authority to do that? We have the authority.
That's one of the questions that came up. Employee asked if it was okay to keep his gun in the car.
You know, we'd rather they didn't. And it's written in here that not to, but, you know, hell, I'd hate to be out searching cars. You know.
So David, road crews do qualify to,
Road crews.
on the job?
Yeah, we're talking specifically about the facilities. So road crews, they're not out in the buildings, they're out, you know, working. If they're licensed to carry, they should have the permission of their supervisor, in this case, their commissioner, to do so.
It's gonna be up to y'all. That work? What else we got?
And the last one is direct deposit procedures. We added that because currently we have been having issues with employees coming in at the last minute, especially when we have a payroll run, wanting to change their direct deposits. Payroll's already been pulled and we just can't make those changes. It's really important that employees come to HR and make those changes. Here lately, in the last 3 years, we have been getting tons of emails addressed as an employee of the county, indicating that they want changes to their direct deposit, I'm going to a new account, and it really isn't the employees, those are scams. So we require all employees to come into HR and make those changes. And it would work out better if it was done the week prior to payroll pull.
Is this,
So you need approval on this?
yes, I do, and it's part of your, go ahead.
Is that SL, changing SL to 15-minute increments?
Yes.
Was that also AL too, or just SL?
It's for annual loss.
Okay, so, okay.
Sick leave and annual leave, but we can have that, please.
I'll make a motion to approve the policy change with the amendments we discussed.
Thank you.
I have a motion
Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Wardlaw and Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, discussion possible action on affidavit of posting early floodplain notice.
Motion to approve.
Second, Commissioner Vasquez. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 22, discussion possible act posting final floodplain notice beginning Monday, October 28th. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 23, discussion possible action on fiscal year 2025 Already County Resolution Texas contingent.
Judge, Commissioner Flores.
He left, right. Okay, he left on both of them. 4-0, okay, just to clarify, item 21, it was a 4-0 vote. Commissioner Flores had left. Item 22, it was a 4-0 vote. Commissioner Flores had left. Item 23, discussion possible action of Already County Resolution. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 24, discussion possible action 106 tribal.
Move.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 25, discussion possible action, section 106. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 26, discussion possible action on endangered species.
Can you do these on a consent agenda next time?
Okay.
Approve them all at one time?
We can. Commissioner Nettleton made a motion, Commissioner Vasquez second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 4-0. Item 27, discussion possible to approve the order under Texas Transportation Code 251.016 and pursuant to Article 5, Section 18, parentheses B of the Texas Constitution for the placement of dumpsters within the county right-of-way.
I asked the county attorney to draft an order. We're having an issue, I don't know that everybody's having an issue, we're having an issue with the placement of dumpsters in front of other people's houses and stuff like that. This order, you wanna go through the order, John? Got it here somewhere. Do you have a copy of the new one?
Commissioner, what item is this?
27, sir?
27.
I'm going fast.
Huh? Yeah, you need this.
Is that the new one?
I don't know.
I've got an issue with the dumpsters also. I mean,
Let him,
I've tried to leave this order where it left each commissioner the authority to do what they needed to do, but it did give us some authority on the placement.
Yes, do you want me to just read the order out?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so this would be the order adopting regulation of dumpsters and trash receptacles in the county right-of-way of Valverde County, Texas. Whereas the Texas Transportation Code 251.016 gives the Commissioners Court of the county the general control over all roads, highways, and bridges in the county. Whereas placement of the dumpsters and trash receptacles falls under the Valverde County Commissioners Court authority pursuant to Article 5, Section 18B of the Texas Constitution as county business. Whereas the Valverde County Commissioners Court, in the interest of health, safety, and welfare of the residents of Valverde County, desire to control placement of potential obstructions within the public right-of-way of county-maintained roads. Now therefore be it ordered that any placement of a dumpster or trash receptacle that may fall into or upon the Valverde County right-of-way, except as described below, will be subject to removal at the expense of the solid waste management company that owns said receptacle. Be it further ordered that the location of the trash receptacles and dumpsters shall be on the property of the individual or individuals who are in privity of contract with any solid waste management company within Valverde County, and will only be allowable in the county right-of-way directly in front of the contracted party's property or at a designated location approved by the county commissioners for the precinct in which the placement of the dumpsters or trash receptacles are or will be located. The goal of this order is essentially to make sure that if someone is in privity of contract with a waste management company, that they keep the dumpsters either located directly in front of their own property. They can be within the county right-of-way there, as long as it's in front of their own property. I know that there's been people that contract together to get solid waste management. The privity of contract between those individuals and that waste management company means that the location of the dumpsters or trash receptacles needs to fall within one of those individuals' properties directly in front of or on their own private property. The other option would be for the county commissioner to establish a location that's within the area that would allow for the dumpsters to be placed off of the county road in the county right-of-way. So that gives you guys some
So bottom
control.
line is, if I'm gonna order a dumpster and I want it in front of my house, there's not a problem.
Correct.
In front of my house.
Correct.
You can put
If
it,
you want a dumpster and you want it.
you just can't put it in front of somebody else.
Yeah. So if you want it in front of somebody else.
Correct.
And we are under no obligation as a county to provide dumpsters.
No.
And if they place them in the wrong place and we have to pick them up, we're going to send a bill of that cost to the person that, which in this case would either be Platform or WW Trucking or whoever that is.
Commissioner, wrong place, like what, off the road or in the middle of the
Let's say
right away?
let's say for instance, that I get a dumpster, but I don't want it in my house, so I'm gonna place it over there at the end of the cul-de-sac in front of your house. It means I have to put it in front of my house. You can put it on the right of way, but you gotta put it in front of your house, not in front of somebody
Right off
else's.
the fence line, because some of those dumpsters are in the middle of that right of way, and it's hard for us to maintain those right of ways.
And if that, you have the authority to tell them to move it. The main concern behind this is that I can't go put my dumpster in front of your house. Which we're having that problem. But if I want a dumpster, it should be in front of my house.
And this gives you the authority to say, I want them 5 feet from the fence, or I want them next to the fence, or whatever.
I think they should be right off the fence line.
I'll make a motion to approve the order, and as soon as the order number is given, for it to be placed on the order and it's sent to the, suppliers of dumpsters in the county.
So as soon as the order's gonna be put on this, we'll get a name and addresses, everybody, and we'll send it.
It'll be like Platform and WW, whoever provides the dumpsters.
Have motion, Commissioner Nemerton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 28, discussion possible action, precinct 4 update on construction for the LED sign has started effective October 17, 2024. Commissioner Flores.
Yes, Judge, just an update, they already started the construction of setting up that LED sign. I think they'll be done sometime next week. So, this will be open to the county for any type of programs or emergencies or anything that we need to let the people know that's taking place. That sign will be available for the whole county.
You don't need any action, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Anybody have any discussion?
Take action on it. I'm building it. I'm getting it installed. No.
This is the one that cost $150 or $170, what this cost? No, I'm just playing, folks, I'm just playing, it did not cost nowhere near that, I'm just giving them a hard time, so no emails, please. Item 29, discussion possible action, precinct 4 update in regards to the advocate position in the community center. Commissioner Flores.
Judge, there's been a real good, idea of us coming up with this position. It's been helping a lot of people. We've had on a daily basis walk-ins from 5 to 10 people with this young lady, Andrea Herrera. She's the one representing us. And then there's been like 62 people she's helped with the SNAP, Medicaid, CHIP, and other programs. And 2 to 5 walk-ins per day on benefit programs. And she helps people fill out applications, translate letters, Spanish, English. So it's been a real good position that we came up with to help the people, the community.
And I want to thank the court for allowing this position to be created and funding it. So, anything else? We good?
That's it.
All right. Item 30, discussion possible action to approve draw request number 10 under Colonia Self-Help Center contract, number CSH22-0201. Authorized by the judge.
Okay.
On motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Huh? You made the motion?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I made a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Everybody's here, 5-0. Item 31, discussion possible action for Commissioner's Court approval to supplement Elizabeth Medina. And
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. For clarification, these monies are funds that go through, Ms. West's office. It's not part of the county funds, and they'll be listed separate. That way, if, those funds go away, the county is not obligated to continue to fund them. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 32, discussion possible to approve the branch library hours of operation at Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a total of 40 hours. This is the branch library that is located at, Commissioner Vasquez, this is yours, one?
The old, the approved version?
But this one's yours. This is,
Okay.
this is the one that.
Yes, sir, at the old Cardinal
At the
School,
old Cardinal School.
on Hoy Street.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Are we doing a 40-hour weeks for our employees with them? Or are we paying them overtime?
No, the way he's developed the schedule, there's some part-timers and stuff in there, so everything's good. Just for information, school had given us, school district had given us two schools.
Old Cardinal
Old
School?
Caldwell, and then yours was where?
Sam Houston, Calavera School.
So there's been a lot of work on the old Cardwell School. There's a branch library fixing to be opened up there. It's also where the food distribution is.
Loaves and Fish is currently located there, so it's an awesome project. I think IT is almost completely done. Building maintenance has done a great job, and of course, Mr. Bond is preparing himself here, so hopefully maybe.
And then this will be the first in its, right? Very first one that the county's ever done, if I'm not mistaken, satellite library. It's awesome. I need a motion on this. If y'all are okay with that.
Second.
Need a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 33, discussion possible action to approve revising Valverde County main library hours of operation to better reflect requested community service. Mr. Bond, you had changed the hours. If you don't mind coming up, do you have those hours? I know I have them here in the packet, but if you'll just tell us what you're doing. You need the sheet? You got it. You got it. Go ahead.
Yes. All we're doing is keeping the same total hours, 52 per week. And we're, well, like it says, reflecting the requested community services. We've been asked to extend at least one day a week for an hour, like instead of 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. So we can do some family fun night or trivia or whatever. We've also been asked to extend our hours Saturday mornings from 10 to 5 instead of 1 to 5. So those 4 hours we're closing on Sunday to make the hours up. We don't get very much traffic at all on Sundays, so
But you do
we'll
on
try
the,
this at
you
least.
do on the days that you're extending your hours. On the days that you're extending your hours, you get more traffic.
Yes.
Motion to
Yes.
approve.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 34, discussion possible action Valverde County Library to accept the donation.
Motion approved.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0.
Judge, could I jump back to item 32 about the branch library hours? Those hours are pretty much necessary, 40 hours, so we can be accredited at that branch library also. And accreditation brings us the E-rate and all those other benefits. So we really do need to run 40 hours a week.
And we appreciate it. Thank you so much, sir. Item 35, discussion possible on utility permit request received by Frontier Communications Project number 5324.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 36, discussion possible on amending plat modifying dimensions lots
Motion
17.
approved.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Awesome job, guys. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37, discussion possible action on authorizing the judge. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Joanna, too, awesome job. Item 38, discussion possible action to award B&J Tractor contract
Motion
for
approved.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Where are those septic systems, Judge? Where they located?
These would be in Comstock,
Yes.
right?
Comes
In Comstock. All those in favor? Any against? Motion carries 5-0. 39, discussion possible action to award road building a contract for bid number 2442 for the material precinct 1.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Flores. Second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 40, discussion possible to award McCaslett Services.
McCaslett.
Huh?
McCaslett Services.
Okay, whatever you say. Contract for bid 24-43.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 41, discussion possible action twice to award Jess Contracting a contract bid 2444, the labor to lay a concrete foundation for precinct 1.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. If you will please, once all these are put together, put that dollar amount together to see how much money he has left over, get with him to figure out if we need to go up for
Okay.
electrical or whatever, because that is ARPA money.
Mhm.
Item 42, discussion possible action,
Move.
again.
You really need to do a consent agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one's for the 51,000, right? That's where I'm
Yes.
at. So I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 43, discussion possible action to award Jess Contracting a contract 2435
Motion to approve.
base bid. Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 44, discussion possible action to authorize purchase. Second. Commissioner Nettleton made a motion, Commissioner Flores did a second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 45, discuss to authorize person to advertise. Commissioner Nettleton, motion, Commissioner Flores, second. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 46, discuss possible action authorize person to advertise for bid. You moved.
Move.
Commissioner Nettleton made a motion. Who's your second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries. Item 47, discussion possible approval to declare the following item
Motion to
surplus.
approve is presented.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 48, discussion possible action authorizing.
Motion to approve.
Anybody second? A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 49, discussion possible action approving a lease between Valverde County and Christian Market.
Move.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Motion carries. Item 50, we've already done. Item 51, discussion possible action to an HR
Motion to
report.
approve is presented. Second. You have an issue with one of them?
Yeah, was retail for executive?
Okay.
All right.
Hold on.
What? Okay, I'm gonna remove my motion.
Okay.
Is there a particular one you wanna pull out?
L.
Correct.
All right, motion to approve with the exception of L.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Okay, I'll write that down. All right, item 52, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code 8551.071, parentheses 2, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071, parentheses 1, parentheses A, contemplated litigation, C 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or real value of property and possible action and open section thereafter, B 551.073, regarding negotiated contract, lease or value of real property and possible action open session thereafter, E 551.076, regarding security devices, security audits, and security purchase. If we're gonna take a little 5-minute break, if y'all will, give us the room, we can come back into executive session. Okay, lights on. Court come back into session. we tabled two items. One of them was number 10, discussion possible action on certification of revenue, Texas Association of County Sheriffs.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. We also tabled under Juanita, item L. No action will be taken on that one, and I will give it to Mr. Hook.
Are we gonna take no action, or are we gonna take an action to deny it and then have him bring it back before the court?
Whatever you want to do, Commissioner.
Doesn't matter to me.
If you want, we can go back to it.
Well, he knows what he's gonna do. He's gonna bring it back.
I'm gonna call him.
Okay.
I'll call him as soon as we get it. Okay, no action needed on that one. Item 53, Commissioners' comments. Item 54, sorry, this is extremely long meeting, sorry about that. Item 55, motion.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor to adjourn? Aye. Anybody against it? This is a 5-0 vote.
Hey, I'm gonna oppose it.